And ladies and gentlemen, of late you've seen Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, all looking so disparate for Raila Odinga's support, unlike a few months earlier. So what could be going on? Why is Rigathi and Kalonzo all of a sudden seeing the significance of Raila Odinga, even saying they are willing to make him president? That is what we answer in this video. And if it is a subject you are interested in, I'm urging you to stay tuned. And if you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel so that whenever we produce videos of this nature, you will be notified. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, all of a sudden, Rigathi Gachagua is showering Raila Odinga with praises. It would take a lot of time if we were to go over the things Rigathi Gachagua said concerning Raila. But there is one thing that he maintained, that the only discussion he can have with Raila Odinga, or the one that he expected Ruto to have with Raila Odinga, is how does Raila Odinga retire permanently from local politics. But today, the same Rigathi Gachagua is doing a media interview, showering Raila with praises, saying they have no particular issue with Raila. Luos are all of a sudden Rigathi's favorite people. Why all this change of mind? Simple. I have told you on this channel, some of you disagree, but I will repeat it until it becomes something you are accustomed to. Kenya's election, just like other countries, like in the US, there are these swing states that you have to win. Kenya's election is controlled, is determined, especially the presidential election, is always determined by three communities. And don't forget this: the Kikuyus, the Luos, and the Kalenjin. Those are the three communities that determines who becomes Kenya's president. Here is how it works. When two out of these three come together, they most definitely produce a presidential candidate. I am not suggesting that other communities don't matter, so don't misunderstand me. I am talking of the influence. For instance, the Kikuyus have serious influence over the Embus, the Merus, and the people who surround them. On the other hand, you have the Luos. They have a serious influence over Kisis and Luyas, and even some communities at the coast. Okay? Then now when you come to Kalenjin, they have influence over the Masais, the Turkanas, and others. So the point is, when you have two of these communities that I mentioned come together, they always produce a president. And like I've always told you, it has nothing to do with guesswork. In 2002, Luos and Kikuyus came together and produced Kibaki as president. Before that, Kibaki had vied twice and could not win. So, in 2007, Luos and Kalenjin were together. And of course, I have maintained on this channel that Kibaki lost that election. The only problem was the powers that be felt so threatened with an idea of 41 against 1 that they decided to plunge this country into conflict as opposed to leaving power peacefully. And in 2013, guess what happened? Even though the Kalenjins and Kikuyus had serious problems in 2007 and 2008, as far as the post-election conflict was concerned, what happened? What did Uhuru do? Uhuru had to look for William Ruto. Why was he looking for William Ruto? Just for the same thing. Because the option was either he goes for Kalenjins or Luos to top up with the Kikuyus, who now owed him because he stood with them and was supporting Kibaki in 2007. he would not get the Luo vote because Raila Odinga by that time was vying as presidential candidate and he had the Luos behind him. And then too, Raila Odinga could not be Uhuru's running mate in any arrangement. So what happens? He went to William Ruto, who brought the Kalenjin. With the Kalenjins coming together with the Kikuyus, they were guaranteed of winning. That is why in 2013 they won. Raila knows that he lost that election. In 2017, it was going to be the same outcome, as long as Kikuyus and Kalenjins were still joined together. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? In 2022, the same combination won. If you want to know that Uhuru understood that a combined Kalenjin and Kikuyu force was difficult to defeat, Uhuru, after the handshake, spent most of the time trying to divide the Kalenjin and the Kikuyus. In fact, they stayed so much trying to put a wedge between these two communities. It was not possible. Why? Because Uhuru Kenyatta had brought Raila on board, and Raila was somebody that the Kikuyus will not support. Even though some will rebel, the ugly truth is that when Uhuru Kenyatta brought on board Raila Odinga, the Kikuyus left him. And they didn't care whether he was the son of Kenyatta. They didn't care whether he was their president for 2 terms. No, they left him. And so they stuck with Kalenjin. And that is what gave William Ruto the victory of 2022. Even Uhuru Kenyatta knew that that combination was not going to be defeated. That is why, even though ODM and Azimio said they had the deep state and etc., it could not win against that combination. Now we are going into 2027 and something serious has happened. The Kikuyus that were together with the Kalenjins are not together with the Kalenjins. Because of what? I repeat, all the dramas aside, they left because William Ruto did not crush Raila as promised, instead brought Raila on board. And like I said, you bring Raila on board, you will lose the Kikuyus. I am repeating this. And then now you may be wondering, why would Rigathi Gachagua and the people of Murima who abandoned Ruto because of Raila Odinga, all of a sudden begging Raila to be with them, even promising to make him president? It's a simple reality that has hit them. If Luos and Kalenjin are together, Ruto will be re-elected as president. And once Ruto is re-elected as president, if that combination continues in 2032, whoever they will endorse will still win. I have given you an example. When Kalenjin and Kikuyus came together in 2013, they won the 2013, they won the 2017, and they won the 2022. That is what Rigathi and Kalonzo have realized, that should Raila Odinga and William Ruto come together, that is, should Luos and Kalenjins join hands, then the Kikuyus will find themselves in opposition, no matter what. And they don't want to be there. These are people who have tested power. Let nobody lie to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, this is raw politics. Let nobody lie to you that being in power has not benefited the Kikuyus. It has benefited them tremendously. It has made them one of the most powerful communities in the country. Why? Proximity to power has its advantages. Let no one lie to you today. That is why Rigathi was openly saying that they will look at whether it is viable to vie. And when they see that it is not viable, and actually it is not viable, by the way, Rigathi, even if the courts were to allow Rigathi Gachagua to vie, he cannot win the presidency unless he gets the Luos or the Kalenjin. And he cannot get the Kalenjin. That is out of the question. That is why you are seeing a concerted effort to make it look like Raila Odinga has no interest in working with William Ruto, but is ready and willing to join Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo to overthrow, to make sure that Ruto is a one-term president. That is the main issue here. But then you are like, what about Kalonzo? Kalonzo Musyoka has presidential ambitions. Why would he be on board with what Rigathi is proposing? No, he's not on board with what Rigathi is proposing. Kalonzo Musyoka wants Raila for a different reason. As for Rigathi, Rigathi wants Raila on board to punish Ruto. So if Raila can agree to have a deal with him, He is promising that he will bring the Kikuyus. You combine that with Luos, chances of Raila Odinga winning, like I told you, is very high. But then it must be, what I was saying, it must be that the Kikuyus hate Ruto so much that they would support Raila Odinga, who is the reason why they left Ruto to begin with. But I digress. On the issue of Kalonzo, Kalonzo does not want Raila Odinga to be president. Neither does he even want Raila Odinga to be on the ballot. Kalonzo, on the other hand, wants Raila Odinga to endorse him because he's persuaded that he will be the flag bearer in the Rigathi coalition. So if he's the flag bearer and Raila Odinga endorses him, okay, and he has the backing of the Kikuyus, that would give him the Luo and Kikuyus, and Kalonzo Musyoka is likely to be president. So Kalonzo wants Raila to help him become president. Rigathi wants Raila to help him ensure Ruto does not get re-elected. Because for Rigathi, if Ruto was to be re-elected, then he would have led this community to the opposition, which means that come 2032, no one would be listening to him in the mountain. Nobody wants to stay in the opposition. Let no one cheat you. This nonsense you hear from people, especially in Lowland, that we are used to being in opposition, etc., that is just because of ignorance. Proximity to power has significant benefit. Just compare the Kisis and Luos. They are at the border. You will find that the Kisis are doing very well. They are fewer than Luos, but because they were in government most of the time, they got so much development. I am not saying that is the ideal situation, but who deals with ideal? We are dealing with the reality. The reality is that if you are in power, your people will benefit. The people who are in power have the ability to make policies and change policies towards benefiting their own people. And that is why I've told you, Kisis are really developed compared to Luos. I live at the border, and I can assure you, if you went to Kisii town, compare it with even Homa Bay town, which should be older, you will find that Kisii town has so much. Why? Because of power, because of being in government. Somebody used to joke, I think it is Barack Muluka, who used to say that if you wanted to know that you are now out of Siaya and into Kakamega, you just looked at the roads. You will find that the people in Luyaland are a little bit better than their neighbors in Siaya. Why? Proximity to government. Areas that had been ignored and marginalized, like the Northeast and the Turkana and the people of the coast, you can see what poverty is doing in those areas. You can also see that in terms of amenities, the things that in central Kenya would be considered normal, in some areas, it is a luxury that you can't afford. So Mount Kenya people will not want to be in opposition, because then it means that whatever benefits they have been enjoying by being in power or being kingmakers will go down. And that is why Rigathi wants Raila Odinga. You may be asking, in your opinion, what do you think? Do you think there's a chance of Raila Odinga working with Rigathi Gachagua? I would want to say no. But this is politics. And in politics, anything is possible. The reason as to why I was saying no is that Raila Odinga had a chance to work with Rigathi Gachagua during the so-called Gen Z revolution, which was just like politicians from Mount Kenya trying to overthrow Ruto through using these young people on the street as a human shield. And Raila was given a very good offer, because all he had to do was to join this, and then they become a force and destroy Ruto through anarchy. And he refused. He rejected that opportunity. He said, and I quote, "Given a choice between being with Ruto and being with Rigathi Gachagua, I would rather be with Ruto." Those were Raila's words. Remember when he was saying, so when Ruto is out of office, who takes over? Rigathi Gachagua? He said no. If Rigathi Gachagua is the alternative, he would rather be with William Ruto. So Raila is not very comfortable working with Rigathi Gachagua, and that is why I was saying no. My second reason for why they may not work together is based purely on this issue of Kikuyus not being very comfortable voting for Raila Odinga. So while people will say, you see, this is politics, everything is possible, I repeat, Kikuyus must hate Ruto so much that they are willing to vote for the same Raila who made them leave Ruto. They left Ruto because Ruto brought Raila on board. Let nobody lie to you that Ruto did not do what he promised. Ruto did exactly what he promised in the campaign. This SHA, issues of affordable housing, all this Hustler Fund, new university funding model, everything that Ruto is implementing today, everything that William Ruto is implementing today, he promised those things during the campaign. So this is not a shocker. This is not something like Ruto, we elected him to do this and then he has this. No. Until William Ruto brought in Raila Odinga, most of the Kikuyus were supporting everything that Ruto was doing. Do you know the affordable housing was there when Raila and these people were on the street with sufurias on the head? What were Kikuyu saying? They were supporting that thing. They were supporting everything Ruto was doing, because then Raila was not on board. When Raila came on board, they left and took the opposition role of criticizing everything that Ruto is doing. Take Rigathi, for instance. You can find Rigathi supporting affordable housing and now calling it the biggest scam. You can find him supporting everything that Ruto was doing just a few months ago, and you'll find him today going without shame, going on media to criticize this. The issue is they can't just say it's shameful for them to just say we left because of our hatred of Raila Odinga. So they have to look for excuses. It is okay. This is politics. It's allowed. But nobody should lie to you that the Kikuyus left Ruto because they disagreed with the policies. The policies are what Ruto campaigned on. And they were supporting those policies not so long ago. They were supporting the policies until Raila came on board. When Raila came on board, they left, and they now oppose those policies, not because they are wrong, but because Raila Odinga is on board, and that means they hate Ruto with all his programs. It's okay. That is why I was saying, if they left Ruto because of Raila, what are the chances of them voting for Raila as president? If they could leave a government they literally formed, because Mount Kenya people brought a lot of votes. I have told you, out of the 7.2 million that Ruto got, 3 million came from Mount Kenya. That is almost over 40% of the votes came from that region. This is their government, literally a government they form. Why would they leave a government they form? It is how they view Raila Odinga. You bring Raila Odinga, you lose them. So fine. Can it be that they would hate Ruto so much that they can now vote for Raila? That is why I was saying it's difficult, because Raila would have to sit down and weigh these options. Number three, this will not be the first time that an Odinga is getting tricked by the Mount Kenya people. Remember, in 1992, the Kikuyus went to Jaramogi and told him that they would back him to remove Moi from power. Yes. When the time came, they had Matiba and Kibaki. Those are the people they voted for. Jaramogi found himself as a loser. Number 4. Moi, Matiba, Kibaki, then Jaramogi. He couldn't believe that betrayal. So this is not something that has not happened before. It has happened. The Kikuyus have told Anne Odinga that we will support you to get rid of Moi. Just the way Rigathi is telling Raila today that join us, we make you president to get rid of. It could be a repeat of history. In 92, Kikuyus told Jaramogi, join us, let us support you. All of us are going to support you so that we can remove Moi from power, Akalenjin. Kikuyus told Luos, join us so that we can remove Akalenjin from power in 1992. When the time came, Kikuyus fielded 2 candidates, Matiba and Kibaki. And those candidates got more votes than Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Of course, Moi won, but those candidates were ahead of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, meaning majority of Kikuyus voted for them. So this could be a repeat. They could be like, Raila, come vie. And then when he vies, they vote for somebody else, just to humiliate him. So I think Raila will have to look at these possibilities, and should he decide that he wants to vie, then he has to be ready for the challenges that comes with that decision. But if you asked for my opinion, Raila Odinga is better off endorsing Ruto's re-election so that in 2032, they decide whoever they want to be president from Western. It would be the first time somebody from Western would be president of this republic. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what I wanted to tell you. I just wanted to answer the question, why is Rigathi and Kalonzo begging Raila Odinga to support them? And I've told you, for Rigathi, it is a matter of, can I convince Raila to spoil everything for William Ruto? But also it depends with Raila, and this is politics. Anything is possible. As for Kalonzo, Kalonzo just wants Raila to help him win because he needs the Luo vote to top up with the Kikuyu vote, and so that he can be president. That is just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. What about you? In your opinion, why do you think Rigathi all of a sudden now wants Raila Odinga to work with him and promising that Mount Kenya people will vote for Raila? Let me know what your opinions are in the comment section. And if you found value in this video, just drop a like and share it with friends. And if you want to know what would happen should Raila Odinga decide to vie come 2027, watch this video.